What's going on, world? It's your boy Holiday Zay with Zaygen Photography, and today we are going to be discussing shutter speed again. Pretty much a part 2 from our recent video, and in this video I'm going to give you guys a bit more clarity and some visual examples of general shutter speed photos and some photos that I've taken in the past that I found errors in simply because back then I didn't quite understand shutter speed and the lighting and all of those things that go with shutter speed to make your image perfect. Okay, so hopefully by the end of this video you have a better understanding, and if you have any questions during this video or after, feel free to ask questions. Without further ado, let's get to it. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, do your boy a favor, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. The last video, which we talked about shutter speed, which is obviously a photography tip for new photographers. The analogy that I gave the last time was the water faucet, just to catch people up to speed. And it's when you have a cup underneath the water faucet, all right, and we're talking about shutter speed. If you open and close the water faucet really fast, how much water do you think is going to go inside that cup? Not much. It's the same thing with your shutter speed. When your shutter speed is high and it opens and closes that curtain super fast, not much light is going to get in. So you might find that your images are darker than usual. On the other side of the spectrum, when you have the water faucet, when you open it for a tad bit longer, you're going to allow more water to enter your cup, and then you close it. Same thing with shutter speed. When you open that, when you slow your shutter speed, the curtain is open for a longer period of time, which is going to allow a lot more light to enter, okay? And then it closes. That is going to drag out, especially if it's in motion. You're going to have blur, it's going to look unstable and all that stuff. You're going to have streaks and whatever if it's in motion. It's going to allow a lot more water inside that cup. It's going to allow a lot more light inside of your lens. So that was the analogy that I gave on the last video, and I didn't give visuals. And on this one, hopefully, giving you visuals will give you more of an understanding, hopefully, of what you got from the last video. So the first visual I want to give you is this one. Now, this is not mine. This is just a general and a very popular shot amongst photographers, and that's catching streaking lights from highways and roads and things like that, high traffic areas during the evening into nighttime. And you always have some sort of skyline, street lights, trees, you know, and you always see the headlights and the brake lights, and it just looks like a bunch of lines going up and down the road. That is the result of a slow shutter speed, okay? Because that the curtain is open for a longer period of time, and it's allowing all the light to enter. But because you have motion, it's creating that blur. It's creating those streaks of those lights from the headlights and the tail lights. So when you look at it, it's cool. It's very pleasing. It's, I guess you can call it artsy. And this is very aesthetically pleasing to a lot of people. This is something that, you know, if people are into this type of, I would call it art, they actually hang it up in their homes just because of the ambient lighting. It might be the skyscrapers. It could be anything. And it's personal preference. Some people would look at this like, why would I want to hang this up in my home? And then you have some people who would say, you know what, I love the background, I love the streaks, I love the long exposure, so on and so forth, and they would choose to hang it up. And they say some photographers, they enjoy hanging up their own work. I've even considered it. I just haven't had the time, okay? So moving on to the next image is the waterfall. You have on the left, you have 1/500, and then on the right, you have 1/4. 1/4 is indicating a much slower shutter speed, and the water looks super smooth, okay? Now, I can guarantee you with the sun being out, you can see it in the top right corner, kind of a sunset, that there is sun visible, right? So with you having that longer exposure and allowing more light to come into your lens, you would expect for your image to be blown out. More than likely, they have what they call a ND filter, which is pretty much sunglasses for your camera lens, okay? And then for the 1/500, a little bit less lighting. You could see more blur. It's not as sharp. Even if you were to zoom in, you could see just a little bit of blur, a little bit of streak and things like that, because you can get to the point within that image to where it just looks like it's still, like nothing's moving at all. There's no indication of any type of movement, okay? So that's the difference between those two. Now, I want to show you some of my images. Now, this image right here is something that I captured several years ago at a rodeo show, okay? And I went in, newbie, excited. I had just got my, what was it? I think I had my 200 to 600 millimeter lens. And, you know, I knew what I was doing, but I didn't understand what I was doing. And you would look at this and be like, oh my gosh, like, okay, this is a fairly decent looking photo. But if you zoom in on his hand, okay, you can now see like, oh, okay, that is motion blur, which lets me now know that my shutter speed was not high enough, okay, because there is some sort of blur. You can see it a little bit in his hat, and if we scroll down to the back legs of the bull, you can notice that there's motion blur, okay, again, which allows myself and you guys to know that my shutter speed was not high enough. The lighting in there was fairly good, but again, I didn't really understand those two together, and all I thought was, okay, as long as I hear my shutter speed open and close fast, I'm good. But you can't go based off of what it sounds like. This is just what I thought. You can't go based off of what it sounds like. It's better to know what you're doing and how to configure your shutter speed, okay? So this is a learning experience. You know, this was taken over 3 years ago, and I look back on it like, man, I wish I had known better, and the image could have came out much better. Now, moving to this next photo was a photo that I took during a sporting event. Again, I used my 200 to 600 millimeter G lens, and this image, you can see like, oh man, this one looks better. Obviously, you can tell that he is in motion, that he's moving at some sort of speed. The fact of the matter is, he is moving, but it looks like a still image. That is, of course, until you zoom in on his foot that is on the ground. When you zoom in, there is a slight blur. Okay, there's a slight blur. And if you are a person who critiques their own work, that little thing right there would probably drive you insane. Okay, so now that I go back and I look at that minor blur, that little minor blur, it bothers me. Okay, but they always say if you knew better, you would do better. And back then I didn't know any better. I was still in the process of learning, which is why they say fitness is a journey. Your career of being a photographer is a journey. You have to go back and see where you made errors and be willing to learn on how to get better. That way you won't make these same mistakes again. You just perfect them as you go throughout your photography career, right? So it doesn't hurt to always go back and look at your work, critique your work to see what you can improve on. You might discover something that you didn't know about yourself, like, oh man, I always do these in my images, or my post edits, and I never realized that, okay? So if you get time, just go back and look through some things. You might figure out something about yourself that you didn't realize back then, and now that you know more, you have more understanding and knowledge when it comes to photography and editing and how to configure your features, you can become a lot better and sharpen your skills. So that's that image. And as you can see, between the football image and the rodeo image, the football image is obviously way better when it comes to shutter speed. My shutter speed was higher. Of course, we were out in the sun, compared to being in a controlled environment where they actually controlled the lighting in that arena. You know, balancing the light, the ISO and things like that, which is a whole nother topic. I don't want to confuse you guys. I would say that photo came out fairly good. Many would say, oh man, that's perfect. But critiquing, I zoom in on that foot and I'm just like, it could have been better. Now for the last one, I want to share this chart with you guys so that you guys can see and hopefully you understand it. For people who are new, this chart is probably going to be so confusing. Even when I looked at it, I'm like, well, this is confusing. I process this the opposite way. I would flip it for me to process it. I understand it. I just don't like how it's backwards in my way of thinking, okay? So I would have 1/1000 on the opposite side and have 1/2 on the other side. That's how I would do it. So this is a bit backwards for me. But long exposure, yes, means more light. The longer that you have that faucet open, the more water is going to go into that cup. The longer that you have that curtain open, the more light is going to come into your lens. The shorter you have, the quicker that you open and close that valve for the water, the less amount of water is going to fall into that cup. The quicker you open and close that shutter on your camera, the less light is going to enter your camera, okay? So it's going to be darker because not much light is going to get in there versus the longer exposure, more light is going to go in. But of course, if you're doing a longer exposure, you're gonna want to have an ND filter on your lens. That way, your image is not overexposed. And overexposed meaning that you have a washed out image. It's white, it has very little color. You can't even really tell what your image is and all of the clarity and details that it might have, okay? So hopefully this chart gives you an understanding of shutter speed. Again, I don't like how I wish I could flip it, but just think of this and flip it the other way. And hopefully you guys understand shutter speed a little bit better looking at this chart and the examples that I was sharing with you earlier in the video. And yeah, I remember years ago when I didn't understand shutter speed at all. I just knew that my shutter speed was not opening and closing. When I would listen to it, it just sounded delayed, but I didn't know that could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on what I was trying to capture, okay? So it's not just going based off of sound, like I said before. It's better to know what you're doing, understanding it, and being patient with learning and reading books and watching tutorials and watching different photography content creators multiple times throughout a week or a month or whenever you have time. Just know that it's a journey. And as long as you take your time, everything will come to you, but you have to be invested and your heart has to be in it. You know, some people look at this thing as a hobby. There are some people who have this thing as a career. And career-driven people with photography, they know their stuff. So I wouldn't consider myself to be a professional. I have had people tell me that my work is professional. If you would like to see some of my latest work, I will leave a link down below to my Instagram page where you can see some images that I have captured over the last few years. And yeah, you're more than welcome to be the judge of my work and my skill, my composition and all that good stuff. Yeah. So hopefully this video did it for you. Hopefully it provided more clarity and understanding, especially with the visuals that I was able to show you guys. Do your boy a favor, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. There will definitely be more photography tips coming to you in the future to help you out along your career or your journey of becoming a photographer, getting used to your camera and learning the functions and so on and so forth. Be sure to click this video if you want to go back and watch the latest video I did on shutter speed. Maybe you might grasp that one better than this one. And remember to always, always, always be grateful and embrace the day. And until next time, peace.